No, you got to go back now and say, why was the NFL continuing to support with all the confusion going on in the media? And maybe it's all of that found money right there.
And then out of nowhere came these young children. I don't know where they came from. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyoncé. So I hear B say something about,
I'm not gonna lie, after we found out why Beyoncé made a lot of the songs that she did and for what reasons, I am not shocked one bit to find out that Jay-Z is allegedly listed in the
When a powerful name suddenly starts circulating online, the internet doesn't wait for answers. Fans pause, timelines freeze, and speculation takes over. Over the past few days, new reports and resurfaced claims have begun spreading across social media, alleging that Jay-Z's name has appeared in discussions connected to the Epstein files. Nothing has been proven, nothing has been confirmed, but the reaction alone has been enough to send shockwaves through pop culture. Fans are shocked, critics are loud, and longtime supporters are demanding clarity. And then, right in the middle of the chaos, 50 Cent reacts. Not with a press conference, not with a denial or confirmation, but with a cryptic response that instantly set the internet on fire. Emotions ran high as people tried to read between the lines, asking whether this was just another moment of industry rivalry or something much deeper. Some believe it's recycled gossip. Others say the silence from major outlets feels unsettling. Families of fans are divided in comment sections. Friendships online are tested, and everyone seems to be asking the same question. If these are just rumors, why do they keep coming back? As speculation grows and reactions multiply, this story becomes less about facts and more about perception, power, and the way a single reaction can turn whispers into a full-blown cultural storm. The reaction did not come with explanations or clarifications, and that silence is exactly what turned curiosity into obsession. As reports and screenshots spread across social platforms, fans began stitching together their own narratives, fueled by years of unresolved industry tensions and public rivalries. Many people pointed out that whenever sensitive rumors surface, reactions often matter more than facts, and this time the reaction from 50 Cent became the center of attention. People online described it as calculated, others as impulsive, but nearly everyone agreed it was intentional. Emotions ran high as supporters of Jay-Z rushed to defend his legacy, arguing that being mentioned in online chatter does not equal guilt. At the same time, critics insisted that powerful figures rarely get questioned unless there is something uncomfortable beneath the surface. The comment sections quickly turned into digital battlegrounds, with fans accusing each other of blind loyalty or opportunistic hate. Some longtime followers of hip-hop culture said this moment felt familiar, like past industry scandals where rumors lingered for years before quietly disappearing without answers. As the debate intensified, attention shifted toward the timing of everything. People noticed how the resurfaced Epstein discussions appeared just as multiple high-profile figures were already facing renewed scrutiny. This made fans wonder whether the story was being revived intentionally, or simply resurfacing new to online algorithms that reward controversy. Emotions ran high again when 50 Cent shared a vague message that many interpreted as a warning rather than a joke. Some fans claimed it was just his usual trolling, while others felt there was an underlying seriousness that could not be ignored. Friends of both artists stayed publicly silent, which only added to the tension. Silence in the entertainment world often speaks louder than denial, and audiences are trained to read between every line. Online spaces filled with theories about power dynamics in the music industry, with users suggesting that influence and wealth often create protective barriers. Fans are shocked not just by the allegations themselves, but by how quickly conversations shift when certain names are involved. Some compare the reaction to previous controversies, where media outlets moved cautiously, choosing distance over investigation. Others argued that restraint does not always mean complicity, but the lack of clarity left room for imagination to run wild. Emotions ran high among casual listeners who said they felt conflicted, torn between enjoying the music they grew up with and questioning the figures behind it. Family group chats, podcasts, and fan pages all buzzed with speculation, turning private doubts into public debates. As the story continued to circulate, personal stakes became part of the discussion. Fans talked about how cultural icons represent more than just music. They symbolize eras, memories, and personal milestones. The idea that those symbols could be tied to dark rumors unsettled many people. Reactions from younger fans were particularly intense, with some saying they felt betrayed by the possibility alone. Others pushed back, reminding everyone that rumors thrive in the absence of verified information. Still, the conversation refused to slow down. Each repost and reaction added another layer to the drama, transforming commentary into a shared emotional experience. Emotions ran high again when archived interviews and old lyrics were pulled into the conversation.
Analyzed in ways never intended at the time they were created. The focus soon returned to 50 Cent, whose public persona has always thrived on confrontation and spectacle. Fans debated whether his response was an act of entertainment or a calculated move rooted in long-standing resentment. Some recalled past feuds, suggesting that this was simply another chapter in an ongoing rivalry. Others believed the stakes felt different this time, heavier, more serious. Friends of fans argued late into the night about intent versus impact, questioning whether commentary alone can shape public perception as strongly as evidence. Emotions ran high as people realized how easily speculation can become accepted truth once it circulates long enough. The family of hip-hop supporters appeared divided, with loyalty on one side and skepticism on the other. Behind the scenes, industry insiders were rumored to be watching closely, aware that public sentiment can shift careers overnight. Fans speculated about private conversations happening away from cameras, imagining tense phone calls and strategic meetings. Some believed legal teams were already preparing responses, while others thought ignoring the noise might be the chosen path. Either way, the uncertainty fed the drama. Emotions ran high among commentators who built entire live streams around breaking down every word and emoji used in the reaction. The absence of clear statements allowed speculation to flourish unchecked, turning small hints into major talking points. The narrative also tapped into a larger cultural moment, where audiences increasingly question authority and fame. Fans are shocked by how quickly trust erodes once doubt is introduced. People began comparing this situation to other celebrity controversies, noting patterns of denial, distraction, and eventual fading attention. But many insisted this felt different because of the names involved and the gravity of the surrounding allegations. Emotions ran high as people asked whether the industry itself encourages silence as a form of damage control. The idea that power can reshape narratives became a recurring theme, echoed across platforms and conversations. As days passed, the story showed no signs of slowing. Each reaction sparked another wave of commentary, pulling in new voices who had previously stayed neutral. Some fans admitted they were exhausted by the constant cycle of rumors, while others felt compelled to stay engaged, fearing that silence meant complicity. Emotions ran high when longtime supporters questioned whether admiration had blinded them in the past. Others reassured themselves that enjoying art does not require assuming the worst about artists. The debate remained unresolved, suspended between disbelief and suspicion, leaving audiences watching closely, waiting for the next reaction, the next post, the next spark that could push this commentary even further into the spotlight. The reaction did not arrive with explanations, confirmations, or even denial, and that absence immediately became the loudest part of the conversation. As online reports and resurfaced discussions began circulating, fans noticed how quickly speculation filled the gaps. People were not reacting to facts, but to the idea that something familiar was suddenly being questioned. Many said it felt unsettling because the story was not being driven by official statements, but by reactions, silences, and interpretations. Emotions ran high as fans tried to understand whether this was simply another cycle of internet rumors, or the beginning of something more damaging. The mention of Epstein in any context already carried weight, and when that weight brushed against a legendary name, the reaction became unavoidable. As clips, screenshots, and commentary spread, supporters rushed to defend Jay-Z, pointing out that online chatter does not equal truth. They argued that powerful figures are often pulled into narratives without evidence, simply because their names generate clicks. On the other side, critics insisted that influence often shields people from scrutiny, and that questioning power should never be dismissed as hate. Fans are shocked at how quickly conversations turn personal, with strangers accusing one another of blind loyalty or malicious intent. Emotions ran high in comment sections where decades of admiration collided with sudden doubt, creating arguments that felt less like debates and more like emotional releases. The focus kept circling back to 50 Cent, not because of anything he proved, but because of how he reacted. People dissected his tone, his timing, and even his history of speaking out during industry controversies. Some said his reaction felt like entertainment, a calculated move designed to stir conversation. Others believed it carried a different energy, one that suggested he knew exactly how much tension his words would create. Friends of both artists stayed publicly silent, which only intensified
Speculation. In the entertainment world, silence is rarely interpreted as neutrality. Fans are trained to see it as strategy, and that belief pushed the drama forward. As hours turned into days, the conversation expanded beyond individuals and into the culture itself. People began questioning how fame reshapes accountability and how narratives are controlled once they reach a certain level of influence. Emotions ran high as fans recalled past moments where allegations lingered without resolution, slowly fading until only rumors remained. Some feared the same would happen here, leaving questions unanswered and trust further eroded. Others believed the constant attention meant this story could not simply disappear. The uncertainty became part of the drama, keeping audiences locked in and constantly refreshing their feeds. Personal stakes quickly emerged in the discussion. For many fans, this was not just about headlines, but about identity and memory. The music tied to these names soundtracked their lives, their relationships, and their personal milestones. The idea that those memories could be connected to dark speculation felt deeply uncomfortable. Fans are shocked by how quickly admiration can turn into conflict once doubt enters the picture. Some admitted feeling defensive, not because they knew the truth, but because the possibility itself felt like a loss. Emotions ran high as people struggled to separate art from artist, nostalgia from reality. The debate grew louder as commentators began pulling in old interviews, lyrics, and past rivalries, re-examining them through a new lens. Statements that once felt harmless were suddenly framed as hints or foreshadowing. Others pushed back, warning against rewriting history based on rumors. Still, the momentum continued. Emotions ran high as live streams and reaction videos multiplied, each adding another interpretation, another layer of tension. The story became less about what happened and more about how people felt while talking about it. Attention kept returning to the power of reaction itself. Many fans noted that a single response can shape public perception more effectively than a detailed explanation. By reacting without clarity, 50 Cent inadvertently became a catalyst, turning whispers into a full-scale conversation. Supporters of Jay-Z argued that this was unfair, that commentary without evidence can still damage reputations. Critics countered that public figures understand the influence of reactions and choose their words accordingly. Emotions ran high as both sides accused the other of hypocrisy, each convinced they were defending something essential. As the narrative unfolded, rumors about behind-the-scenes tensions began circulating. Fans speculated about private meetings, tense phone calls, and legal discussions happening away from public view. None of it was confirmed, yet it felt real enough to sustain the drama. People imagined advisors urging silence, while others pushed for strategic responses. Emotions ran high as fans debated whether addressing the rumors would calm the storm or make it worse. History offered examples of both outcomes, leaving no clear answer. The story also tapped into a larger shift in how audiences consume celebrity news. Trust is thinner, skepticism louder, and patience shorter. Fans are shocked by how quickly narratives form without verification, yet they continue to participate in spreading them. Emotions ran high as people acknowledged this contradiction, recognizing their role in amplifying speculation while criticizing it. The commentary became self-aware, with viewers questioning not just the figures involved, but their own reactions. As conversations spilled into podcasts, group chats, and offline discussions, the sense of division deepened. Families of fans found themselves on opposite sides of the debate, some dismissing the story entirely, others insisting it deserved attention. Emotions ran high because the conversation touched something deeper than gossip. It questioned trust, power, and the cost of fame. By the time the first wave of reactions settled, one thing was clear. Regardless of truth or outcome, the commentary itself had already reshaped how people viewed the moment, leaving the story suspended in tension, waiting for the next reaction to push it even further. The conversation did not cool down after the first wave of reactions. Instead, it shifted into something heavier and more emotionally charged. Once the initial shock faded, people began asking deeper questions about why certain stories resurface and why others vanish without a trace. Fans started comparing this moment to previous controversies in the entertainment world, where allegations floated around for years without resolution. Emotions ran high as people debated whether silence protects reputations or quietly damages them. Some believed the lack of clear responses was intentional, a way to let the noise burn itself out. Others argued that
silence only gives rumors more room to grow, especially in a culture that thrives on speculation. As commentary videos multiplied, a new layer of drama emerged around perception and intent. People were no longer just talking about what was being said, but why it was being said now. Fans questioned the timing, pointing out how resurfaced claims often appear when public attention is already focused elsewhere. Emotions ran high when viewers noticed how quickly narratives can be shaped by repetition alone. A statement repeated enough times begins to feel familiar, and familiarity can easily be mistaken for truth. Some fans admitted that even though they knew nothing had been proven, the constant exposure made the story feel heavier each time it appeared on their screens. The role of the audience became part of the conversation itself. Fans started reflecting on their own reactions, asking whether curiosity had crossed into complicity. Emotions ran high as people realized how easily they were pulled into choosing sides without full information. Supporters of Jay-Z emphasized his long career and cultural impact, arguing that legacy should not be rewritten based on online chatter. Critics pushed back, saying legacy should never shield anyone from questions. The tension between admiration and accountability played out in real time, with neither side willing to step back. Attention also turned toward the broader industry and how power dynamics influence which stories gain traction. Fans speculated about behind-the-scenes conversations, imagining executives and advisors weighing the risks of speaking versus staying quiet. Emotions ran high as people discussed how wealth and influence can shape narratives, not by erasing stories but by slowing them down until public interest fades.
Some viewers said this pattern felt familiar, pointing to other moments where allegations lingered just long enough to cause doubt before disappearing without closure. The commentary around 50 Cent evolved as well. People began analyzing not just his reaction, but his history of positioning himself as an outsider willing to speak when others will not. Fans debated whether his involvement added credibility or simply amplified drama. Emotions ran high as people argued about motive, with some saying he thrives on conflict, while others believe he sees himself as challenging industry hypocrisy. Regardless of intent, his reaction had already done its job, keeping the story alive and forcing people to keep talking. As discussions deepened, personal emotions surfaced more openly. Some fans shared how uncomfortable it felt to question figures they had admired for years. Others expressed frustration, saying they were tired of feeling manipulated by cycles of rumor and outrage. Emotions ran high in spaces where people admitted they wanted clarity, not because they expected guilt, but because uncertainty itself was exhausting. The lack of resolution left audiences suspended, constantly refreshing feeds for updates that never seemed to arrive. The conversation also exposed generational differences among fans. Older listeners tended to emphasize patience and skepticism, recalling past scandals that ultimately led nowhere. Younger fans, raised in an era of constant information flow, were less willing to wait. Emotions ran high as these perspectives clashed, with each side accusing the other of either being naive or overly cynical. The story became a mirror reflecting how differently people process celebrity news depending on experience and expectation. Media behavior became another focal point. Fans were shocked by how cautiously major outlets appeared to tread around the topic. Some interpreted this as responsible restraint, while others saw it as avoidance. Emotions ran high as people debated whether journalism should prioritize verification over immediacy, or whether silence itself can shape public opinion. The absence of clear coverage created a vacuum that commentary channels eagerly filled, each adding their own spin to the narrative. As speculation continued, old rivalries and historical context were pulled into the mix. Fans revisited past industry conflicts, framing them as part of a long-running power struggle. Emotions ran high as people questioned whether personal grudges influenced public commentary more than truth. Others dismissed this angle entirely, saying the story had taken on a life of its own, independent of any single relationship or feud. Through it all, one theme remained constant: uncertainty. No confirmations, no denials, just reactions layered on top of reactions. Fans are shocked by how long a story can survive without new information, sustained purely by interpretation and emotion. The longer it lingered, the more entrenched opinions became. Some people decided early what they believed and refused to budge. Others stayed undecided, trapped in the uncomfortable space between trust and doubt. As the noise grew louder, the story
stopped feeling like a passing headline and started feeling like a test of how audiences handle ambiguity, how they respond to power, and how quickly perception can shift without proof. Emotions ran high because there was no clear ending in sight, only the constant hum of discussion. The commentary kept evolving, fueled not by answers, but by the shared tension of waiting for something definitive that might never come. As time went on, the conversation began to take on a different weight, moving from shock into something closer to suspicion mixed with fatigue. Fans were no longer just reacting emotionally, they were actively trying to interpret patterns. People started lining up past moments, old interviews, public appearances, and even casual remarks, asking whether they had missed something all along. Emotions ran high as some fans admitted they felt uneasy revisiting memories they once celebrated without question. Others pushed back hard, saying this kind of retroactive analysis was unfair and dangerous. Still, the habit continued, because once doubt is introduced, it becomes difficult to ignore. The role of social media algorithms became part of the discussion as well. Fans pointed out how certain clips and keywords seemed to appear everywhere at once, creating the illusion that the story was bigger or more confirmed than it actually was. Emotions ran high when people realized how repetition can shape belief. Seeing the same claim framed in slightly different ways across platforms made it feel persistent, almost unavoidable. Some users said they felt trapped in a loop, unable to escape commentary even when they wanted to. Others admitted they kept watching because they feared missing some crucial update, even though no new information ever seemed to arrive. Public loyalty became another emotional pressure point. Fans felt compelled to declare where they stood, even when they were unsure. Staying neutral was often treated as weakness or avoidance. Emotions ran high in spaces where people were accused of protecting power simply by asking for proof. At the same time, those who questioned the narrative were labeled as hateful or opportunistic. The family of fans was left divided, not by facts but by feelings and assumptions. The conversation stopped being about what might be true and became about what people believed should be true. Behind the commentary, there was also a growing awareness of reputation and risk. Fans speculated about how public figures manage crises that exist mostly in perception.
Emotions ran high as people debated strategy, imagining advisors warning against overreaction, while others argued that silence could be interpreted as arrogance. Some fans believed any response would only add fuel to the fire, while others insisted that addressing rumors head-on was the only way to regain control. There was no consensus, only endless debate fueled by uncertainty. The influence of 50 Cent remained a constant thread. People continued to analyze whether his reaction was deliberate provocation or casual commentary taken too seriously. Emotions ran high when fans recalled his history of using humor and confrontation to expose hypocrisy. Some believed he was simply doing what he always does, poking at power for entertainment. Others felt that even playful reactions carry responsibility when they intersect with sensitive allegations. The line between commentary and implication felt increasingly blurred, making every word and gesture feel heavier than intended. As more voices joined the discussion, the story began to feel less personal and more symbolic. Fans started framing it as an example of how celebrity culture handles discomfort. Emotions ran high as people questioned whether society demands accountability from famous figures or only performs outrage until the next headline appears. Some fans expressed cynicism, saying they had seen this cycle too many times to expect real answers. Others held on to the hope that sustained attention might eventually lead to clarity. The tension between resignation and expectation kept the conversation alive. The emotional toll of constant speculation became visible as well. Fans admitted feeling drained, caught between wanting to defend figures they admired and wanting to stay open to uncomfortable possibilities. Emotions ran high in posts where people confessed they missed enjoying music without feeling conflicted. Others said the discomfort was necessary, a sign of growth and critical thinking. The debate turned inward, with audiences questioning their own values and limits more than the figures at the center of the story. Media silence continued to loom over the discussion like an unanswered question. Fans are shocked by how much power absence can hold. The lack of definitive reporting became its own narrative, fueling theories about influence and restraint. Emotions ran high as people argued over whether responsible journalism meant waiting for
verification or whether it unintentionally allowed rumors to dominate the conversation. Commentary channels filled the gap, not because they had answers, but because they had the freedom to speculate. This shift blurred the line between news and entertainment even further. As the story stretched on, it began to reshape how people talked about fame itself. Fans discussed how success can isolate individuals from scrutiny while simultaneously magnifying every rumor. Emotions ran high as people questioned whether society places celebrities on pedestals, only to tear them down when doubt arises. Some fans felt protective, seeing criticism as an attack on culture and legacy. Others saw questioning as a necessary correction to idolization. Neither side fully convinced the other, leaving the conversation unresolved. The lack of closure kept audiences engaged, even when they wanted to move on. Fans refreshed feeds out of habit, not expectation. Emotions ran high when people realized they were participating in something they did not fully trust. The story had become self-sustaining, fueled by attention rather than information. Each new reaction, even one meant to dismiss the rumors, added another layer to the narrative. By this point, the commentary was no longer just about allegations or reactions. It was about how quickly perception can become reality in the public mind. Fans are shocked by how easily uncertainty fills the space where facts should be. Emotions ran high because the conversation touched on fear, loyalty, disappointment, and doubt all at once. And as the noise continued, it became clear that the story was not waiting for proof to move forward. It was waiting for the next moment, the next reaction, or the next shift in attention that would decide whether this chapter quietly fades or grows even louder. As the conversation reached its most intense point, a strange calm began to settle in, not because answers had arrived, but because people had grown used to the tension. The story had become part of the daily scroll, something fans checked in on like background noise, even as it continued to stir unease. Emotions ran high in a quieter way now, less explosive but more deeply rooted. People no longer reacted with shock alone, but with reflection, wondering how long a narrative built on reaction could survive without substance. Yet it did survive, because perception had already taken hold. Fans began talking about long-term impact rather than immediate fallout. Some argued that even unproven rumors can leave lasting shadows, shaping how figures are remembered regardless of outcomes. Emotions ran high as people discussed how legacy is not only built on achievements, but also on how controversies are handled. Supporters insisted that time would wash away speculation, pointing to countless past stories that eventually faded. Critics countered that the internet never truly forgets, and that even dismissed rumors linger in search results and public memory. This tension between forgetting and remembering kept the debate alive. The emotional divide among fans became more personal. Some people withdrew from the conversation entirely, choosing silence over stress. Others leaned in harder, feeling a responsibility to keep questioning power structures they believe often go unchecked. Emotions ran high in posts where fans admitted they felt conflicted supporting art that now carried uncomfortable associations, even if only in rumor. Others pushed back,
saying enjoyment does not equal endorsement, and that demanding purity from artists is unrealistic. The lack of clear moral ground left many people unsettled. Attention gradually shifted back to the idea of control. Fans speculated about who truly shapes narratives in moments like this. Emotions ran high as people imagined public relations strategies designed to outlast attention spans. Some believed silence was calculated, a way to let public interest burn itself out. Others argued that silence was risky, allowing others to define the story instead. Without confirmation, every theory felt plausible, which only deepened uncertainty. The story existed in a space where nothing was proven, yet nothing felt resolved. The role of commentary itself came under scrutiny. Fans started questioning whether reaction culture does more harm than good. Emotions ran high as people realized how easily commentary transforms speculation into perceived reality. Some admitted they trusted confident voices online more than they should have, even when those voices offered no evidence. Others defended commentary as a reflection of public curiosity, rather than a source of truth. The line between observation and implication remained thin, and crossing it required little more than tone and timing. The influence of rivalry continued to color interpretations. Fans debated whether long-standing tensions within the industry made certain reactions inevitable. Emotions ran high as people accused
commentators of exploiting history for clicks. Others argued that ignoring context would be naive, saying personal dynamics always influence public moments. This disagreement ensured that no single interpretation dominated. Instead, the story splintered into multiple versions, each shaped by the beliefs of the people telling it. Over time, fatigue set in alongside fascination. Fans expressed exhaustion at living in a constant state of uncertainty. Emotions ran high when people admitted they wanted closure, even if that closure came in the form of definitive denial or confirmation. The absence of resolution became its own burden. Some began to disengage, shifting attention to new headlines and fresh drama. Others stayed, convinced that stepping away meant accepting unanswered questions. The cycle of attention and withdrawal played out repeatedly. The broader cultural implications of the story also became clearer. Fans discussed how society balances skepticism and trust, especially when dealing with powerful figures. Emotions ran high when people acknowledged their own biases, recognizing how easily admiration can influence judgment. Some argued that questioning should always come first, while others warned against assuming the worst based on rumors alone. This internal conflict mirrored the external debate, reinforcing how deeply the story had penetrated public consciousness. As discussions slowed, the story entered a lingering phase, not forgotten but no longer dominating every feed. Emotions ran high in a muted way, like an unresolved chord that never quite fades. People reference the situation casually now, using it as an example rather than a breaking topic. The commentary had reshaped perception, even without conclusions. That shift felt permanent to some, subtle to others, but undeniable. In the end, what remained was not proof or resolution, but a lesson about how quickly narratives can form and how difficult they are to undo. Fans are shocked not by what was confirmed, but by how much influence reactions and silence can have. Emotions ran high because the story forced people to confront uncomfortable truths about attention, power, and belief. Without ever claiming certainty, the commentary itself left an imprint, reminding audiences that in the modern landscape, perception often moves faster than truth, and once it does, it rarely waits for permission to settle in. Before you scroll away, take a second to think about how this story made you feel. Not what you were told to believe, but how the reactions, the silence, and the speculation landed with you personally. This video was never about declaring guilt or proving facts. It was about examining the commentary, the reactions, and the way stories like this grow in the public space long before answers ever arrive. Now it is your turn to be part of the conversation. If you found yourself questioning narratives, noticing patterns, or even feeling conflicted, you are not alone. That tension is exactly why stories like this keep resurfacing. If you believe these are just recycled rumors fueled by reaction culture, say that. If you think powerful figures should always face questions, even when nothing is proven, say that too. Your perspective matters, especially in moments where certainty is missing. Drop your thoughts in the comments and explain where you stand, because this conversation does not move forward with voices like yours. And while you are here, make sure you support the channel by liking this video if you appreciate commentary that focuses on discussion rather than conclusions. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into entertainment drama, industry reactions, and stories where perception and power collide. This channel is about breaking down what people are saying, how others are reacting, and why certain moments spark so much emotion online. Turn on notifications so you do not miss the next video, because these conversations evolve fast, and every reaction adds a new layer. Most importantly, stay curious, stay critical, and remember that in a world driven by reactions, how you think matters just as much as what you watch.